Hello there, folks. So, definitely just going to dive right in here yet again for you guys. I would just like to start off this video by saying that family is very important to me, and not to the extent where it's a necessity above all other things. I respect friends as well, and acquaintances and business associates altogether. But family to me is very essential. It's kind of like a reliant fallback, like a safety net in a sense. And I think during this time of year, during Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you may celebrate this time of year, even if it's not even a particular holiday season, remember that family comes first. So happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you all out there, without a shadow of a doubt. There really are a lot of smokes that I find very interesting and appreciate, and that's kind of the bane of my videos, kind of smoking altogether. It draws a lot of attention, I think, from my videos. And for this video, I was going to wear a nice little bow tie and be like, yeah, bow tie it out, but it's a little bit chilly in here. I have the fan on, and I'm trying to keep it cool at nighttime. It's right around 1 to 2 a.m. right now, so I thought I'd represent during NFL season my favorite team here, and just have a nice little relaxing conversation with you guys. I know this is a one-way conversation, but feel free to comment and like and subscribe. Me and my talkativeness really, I think, draws out people wanting to, hopefully, preferably, in my case, respond to me and just get back to me no matter what, whether it be positive feedback or negative feedback. I love positive feedback, especially. Anyway, I'll dive right in. Here I have Marlboro 100s Smooth Original. Here we have the Marlboro 100 Smooth Original. These are really great. This has been kind of a basis cigarette for me. These to me are kind of a cigarette where I know I'm going to get a bang for my buck. I know I'm just going to enjoy every single puff down the entire tube of the cigarette, down to the filter. These are the kind of cigarettes where I smoke it down to the filter almost every single time. And I did have a good acquaintance when I lived downstate in Cheyenne who a couple years ago introduced me to these Marlboro 100s. And I really enjoyed them. And he was just such a cool character. I was a musician with him, and we kind of just hung out quite a bit back then. So I was like, this is kind of he left an impression on me with these cigarettes, and I think it was very special to me. The Marlboro 100s, or you could get them in the King's version, but just the gold ensign there for the Marlboro, and then the gold ensign right there, and it always will say with the gold flash, with the white box, Smooth Original flavor there at the bottom. So yeah, he left a great impression on me with these cigarettes. I don't love smoking and talking, but I mean, if you guys know my channel, you know that's all I really do. Trying to attract viewers. So here we go. Really nice chocolatey scent. Really, for these particular cigarettes, you don't really strive for the smell, as is the case with generic cigarettes. For me personally, I love smelling a good cigarette, but with these, it's more like once you inhale them. Once you take the first puff, you know it's going to be so magnificent. Even after your first or second one, they leave such a good impression on the tongue and a good impression on the heart. And I think it really is just such a distinct flavor. The blend for these is really magnificent. So I'll light away. And if you guys know me, you know I love blue cigarettes, whether they be Eagle 20s blue. I was actually going to list off a couple cigarettes that I loved. I'll start with the blue cigarettes. When it comes to blue, for me, Eagle 20s blue, L&M blue is a really good cigarette. Almost where like you're inhaling the paper and you're like, I love the paper so much. I could just have half as much tobacco in this tube and I would still just love the flavor because the tobacco is just so good. And it almost sounds astonishing and surprising that for the average non-smoker, there is such a difference between cigarettes. And I know a lot of you guys really just prefer your basic reds or Marlboro Black, or perhaps you're more of a Virginia blend kind of guy, or you're more classy and you like Virginia Slim, for instance. God bless you. That's great. But for these, they're my favorite gold box kind. I also like Winston Gold Box, but not as much. Winston Gold Box is a little bit more of a kind of a more in-depth smoke. I know I'm getting more kind of a charcoaly scent to it, and that's really what stands out to me in a cigarette. I like distinct flavors. And even, when you're smoking something, it's just like you're drinking it or eating it, really, when it comes down to it. It's just like drinking or eating something, in a sense. And if you get used to smoke, maybe after a couple years, or a year, or even 3 months or so, you could become a connoisseur that quickly. You really can delineate with flavor. You really can get down to the basics of what's in a cigarette just by tasting it. And I really like Marlboro's 100 Smooth Original. These basic filters. I can call them filters. I think that's what my friend Brian and Cheyenne called them, filter cigarettes. And he would just smoke these by the carton, just in and out. Love the guy. If he finds this video, I'll be very embarrassed because I keep mentioning his name. But really great guy, Brian was. And he introduced me to the Gold Pack, so, bless him. And really, if there's going to be anything for a cigarette, title-wise, it may as well, if it really is this good, it may as well be the title of gold or platinum. I've never smoked a platinum box. If there ever was a campaign strategist out there in the marketing world, definitely go for platinum. That would be a really cool name for a cigarette, I think, altogether. And I would definitely smoke a platinum cigarette without a doubt. To get into a little bit of my philosophy, I don't recommend smoking. I definitely would call it precarious, and it is not highly recommended. If you're not a smoker right now, don't bother. Smoking is where, like, if you're caught into it and you're going to quit by a certain age, best of luck to you. Definitely best of luck to you. And I hope you can achieve that goal 115,000%, because I know that there are other methods nowadays in achieving various nicotine highs, and you can even smoke pot, for instance, if you're in a legal state, or you can have a glass of rum every day at the end of a work shift, as opposed to a cigarette, or both. But there are definitely a lot of things that we can strive for as a vice to replace and substitute the cigarette. Right now I'm at a point in my life where it's just so pleasurable. I just can't help it. It's really good, really good. And like cigarettes, we notice that in this day and age, cigarettes are much like people. They come and go in our lives. There's a song lyric by this really great band I've been following well back into my teens. When I was 18, I discovered this band called Umbrellas from Oklahoma. Umbrellas is their only name. They have a couple hits called Boston White. They have another hit called Ships. And there goes a lyric in that particular song. Just like ships, we float into each other's lives. And it's a really pretty song. I just love Umbrellas. They're a really good, ambient rock band. And if it may be like that, cigarettes will float into your life and float out of your life, if it so be it, and that is okay. That is 110% okay. I have a couple recommended YouTube channels for sure that I'm going to throw out to you guys. First of all, if you are a foodie like me, and I love food, I mean, like, for instance, smoking a cigarette after a meal is something that I share with all my smoker friends, and really only about a rough third or a quarter of my really good acquaintances in town and around are smokers as well. And we can all 110% agree that eating after a long day and then having a cigarette is so awesome. Like, I've met people who wouldn't eat for like 9 hours and they would never take a lunch break, and then they'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna scarf this, and then they have a cigarette at the end of the day, and it's just so satisfactory. It's really just one of those things that you can't write down in script how amazing it is, because it's so appealing, it's so astonishing, and I would highly recommend that for other smokers, preferably steak or something with lots of sodium in it. I'm a big sodium guy over sugar any day. Actually, it was taught in French class in high school and college that the French actually are very opposed to mixing sweets and salty meals together, because they just find it despicable. I suppose if you're a francophone, or a person of a Québécois or Francais culture, you might find that your particular home state or home city definitely might not mix salty and sweet in its culture. I particularly adore mixing salty and sweet things together. That's very enjoyable and pleasurable for me, with the inclusion of a cigarette at the end of that. So I'm gonna put this out right now. But yeah, getting into my recommended YouTube channels, talking about foodies. I love Townsends. Townsends. Townsends, and they do a really great cameo of like different 18th century, like we're talking like Revolutionary War foods, something I would have never thought about until I discovered YouTube and discovered all these channels. Kitty's meowing at the door. I'll let her in pretty soon after I'm done smoking. But yeah, Townsends is just great. They do like wonderful like cooking from scratch videos. They do the whole attire of dressing up like Revolutionary War soldiers, and they do a really good point of staying American in a sense, which I can appreciate to an extent. I love British Victorian culture as well, but yeah, Townsends is great. A great foodie cooking channel for 18th century cuisine. I'm also going to recommend, on another point, if you enjoy Japanese or Eastern Asian cuisine, Boo Bradley. BOO space BRADLEY. Boo Bradley. And he's a great gentleman. I've seen him on Eric Surf 6's channel, which I've mentioned before in my past videos if you're a serious follower. He's one of Eric Surf 6's good friends, Boo Bradley is. And he does all kinds of cool little videos with his family and just fun stuff like sushi and noodles and just different restaurants and whatnot. Japan has a great category of restaurants that I highly recommend. And finally, I'll recommend a actual political YouTube channel that I might have mentioned once or twice before, but I'm just going to throw it out there once more, and it is called Sticks, Hex and Hammer 666. And if you can't spell that, it is a little bit tricky. It's Sticks as in STYXHEXENHAMMER 666. Sticks, Hex and Hammer 666. He's a wonderful gentleman from Vermont who knows a lot of good political alt-right and just very centrist in a philosophical sense repertoire about politics and what's going on. Sticks, Hex and Hammer 666 stays very updated. And don't worry, I will include all these channels in the description. But I'm going to go ahead and upload this video, guys. Thanks again for watching. I talk about lots of stuff on my channel here. I'll show my wonderful pack of cigarettes here once more. Marlboro. Gold pack. This is the gold pack of Marlboro. If you haven't seen it or smoked it, go out and have a try. That's what it looks like. Gold enzyme, white box. Wunderbar. Wunderbar. As always, I'm Snowy Croquet.